What up, Space Fam? Goes in here from AnimeUproar, and I'm back at it again to discuss the latest crazy One Piece chapter. The Yonko are fighting the supernova, and things get shocking, pun intended, so make sure to stay tuned for this one. If you enjoy One Piece and want to keep the reviews coming, channel the Pirate King within and smash that like button with no mercy. If you haven't, join the Nakama right now by hitting that subscribe button, and most importantly, hit that notification bell or you will miss future One Piece videos. And while you wait for the next intense chapter to drop, feel free to check out my growing One Piece playlist where I have videos about the Yonko, Warlord, Supernova, and much more. Link to that is in the description. Now without further ado, let's jump into it. Spoilers and all. This chapter is straightforwardly called Emperors versus the New Generation. The hype is real. With each new chapter, we'll be getting more and more into this fight for the ages, and things will just get crazier and crazier. This chapter, for example, definitely had crazier moments than the last one. Again, as I mentioned in the last video, Oda focused on the rooftop fight, the main attraction for the entire chapter. I have no idea how long Oda will spend on just this fight without jumping around, but I am most definitely not complaining. The metaphor I mentioned last chapter about the Yonko representing gods, the heavens, and even the overwhelming power of nature continues strong in this chapter. Kaido and Big Mom tower over the scene, and we're told ominous clouds gather over Wano. Kaido uses the move Destructive Wind, and all the supernova get to deal with it in their own way. Law disappears, Killer dodges, Kid lets his mecha arm get cut off since he can just reattach it with his power anyway. Zoro's method is definitely my favorite. He just slashes it aside in a stoic way without much fuss. I love how little energy he needs to exert compared to some of the others. Luffy, for his part, shows off a bit, using his speed to weave through the wind slashes and then unleashes Kong Rifle, seemingly an upgraded version of Kong Gun. And I gotta say, I love how straightforward Luffy's upgraded move names are. As someone who used to play a lot of Counter-Strike, I can't wait to see the Kong up. The point being though, Luffy's improved attack does damage and sends Kaido flying backwards. This David versus Goliath story is looking very good right now, as David is punching around Goliath. Kid comes in for a combo and slams Kaido into the ground. It looks cool, but I wonder how useful such purely physical moves, like Kid's, can hope to be against Kaido. Luffy's got that advanced haki going, but Kid still needs something, some special angle that we have yet to see. Obviously, Kaido gets up fine, and next Law has his turn against the Yonko. He's never dissected a dragon before, as he says, but he tries to guess where Kaido's heart is and whips out a gamma knife against him. This has been called Law's strongest technique, and it can be used to fatally wound opponents by destroying their internal organs. In other words, it should render Kaido's tough skin meaningless because the move just passes through it. Kaido is not defeated as you'd expect, but still he is hurt and has to admit that these guys can counter his durability, and thus they are not the suicidal fools he took them for. These kinds of lines that acknowledge, however hesitantly, that the supernova are more of a threat than the Yonko thought at first, get me so hyped up. The thing is, we don't know for sure what internal organs Law actually hit, and how much damage that will do against Kaido compared to other people. But we do know that Kaido's dragon form is actually a good counter to Law's ability because, as mentioned, it is much harder to find the heart of a dragon than it is to find the heart of a human. Killer's up next, and I don't mean to anger any hardcore Killer fans, but I think most of us expected the least from him because he's not a captain and he's not Zoro. He tries to cut Kaido's scales and nothing happens. However, to our surprise, Killer decides he can get through by slicing Kaido up from the inside. He uses Sonic Scythe, an attack that seemingly creates sound-based blades that travel through the tough hide. And the attack appears to do real damage across Kaido's entire body. Killer being able to hurt a Yonko was not expected, and wow, I have to say, I look at Killer differently now. However, just as things seem to be going too good to be true, Big Mom blasts Killer with some lightning. The move is named Indra, who, according to Google, is the deity of the heavens, lightning, thunderstorms, rains, river flows, and war. The god and nature references continue, and this one is pretty epic. Kid is shocked to see what happened to Killer, not quite as shocked as Killer obviously, but still shocked. Big Mom is truly terrifying here, as we see her from above laughing and saying, as if she were a vengeful god, that there will be no escape for anyone under the heavens. Kaido has to admit that these supernova are tougher than expected, and as he's about to gobble up Killer, Luffy gives him another hit. As Luffy is moving through the air, seemingly defenseless, Kaido prepares a fire blast. What I'm about to mention is the most hilarious moment in the chapter. Zoro asks Law for a boost. After him having to follow Luffy, aka another captain's orders last time, this time Zoro is even giving Law orders. And even though Law does it and knows it's the right thing to do, he's still upset because of how it looks and proclaims he's not a babysitter as he sends Zoro up there to slice Kaido's blast breath. Zoro is just so epic. First, he commanded Law, then he cut Kaido's fire after cutting Prometheus previously, and now he goes to seriously attack Kaido, a moment we've all been waiting for. Last time he did little damage, but we all knew he'd come back with a better slice, and this is it. With Enma, Odin's old sword, Zoro prepares his attack. Even Kaido is intimidated and saying Nani, and Big Mom, so confident in herself a second ago, is actually freaking out, telling Kaido to dodge. The move has a great name, it's called Flying Dragon Blaze, but unfortunately it doesn't land. But it does cleanly slice off a horn on the giant skull of Onigashima. But it didn't even have to hit Kaido for this to be one of the most epic moments ever. Two Yonko were scared. Kaido, the unkillable, felt like he had to dodge an attack, and it wasn't even an attack from a captain. Zoro continues to impress, and I really can't get enough of his character. Now, to be fair, Big Mom does single out the sword, saying that's not your average sword. And Kaido wonders why Odin's aura is emanating from that same sword. So Enma definitely deserves some credit here as a blade. And one of the reasons I think it will be the key to beating Kaido is because psychologically the blade and Odin's memory will lower Kaido's defenses as well. But props still have to go to Zoro, and even Big Mom says that Kaido really underestimated him. I do want to know what you guys make of the whole Odin's aura emanating from his sword thing. Is it psychological? Is Zoro giving off the same energy as Odin? Or is Odin's power and will somehow inside the sword itself? I'd love to hear your thoughts because I'm not sure how to interpret this right now. Zoro, despite doing something super epic, is still furious he missed and gets zapped by lightning like Killer. His defense is not as strong as his offense, while for Luffy, he's unaffected by the attack because he is rubber after all. So despite Big Mom turning the entire battlefield into a deadly lightning storm and even calling the attack Heavenly Dominion Shiva's Wrath, Luffy is still fine. Like in the 7 Deadly Sins, Luffy is not afraid to stand up and fight against the so-called gods of this world. Kid mentions that the attack is like a natural disaster and he gets hit along with Law. Big Mom is shocked that Luffy is fine and he jumps towards the Yonko. He gets hit by blast breath and Kaido in turn is shocked when it looks like fire isn't effective either against Luffy, as if this was a Pokemon game. But no, Luffy says that time he kept going because of guts, and he uses Kong Gatling to pummel Kaido mercilessly with countless punches. And that is it for this chapter, which passed by super quick because it was so action-packed. What an amazing chapter. Kaido did not look good here. Obviously, this happened sometimes and then the next chapter he may absolutely wreck everyone, you never know, but he definitely wasn't as impressive as you might expect in this chapter at least. He was punched around by Luffy a lot, hurt by Killer, hurt by Law, and had to straight up dodge an attack from Zoro. Big Mom's lightning was truly impressive, and only Luffy could get up and fight right away afterwards. Some notable highlights for me in this chapter were Killer doing better than expected. Obviously, Zoro's epic moment was my favorite, Big Mom's godlike power was crazy, and Luffy's ability to keep going and punch around Kaido so much was notable too. Clearly, as of right now, Zoro seems to have the most destructive potential against Kaido, as I expected he would, but that isn't everything, and Luffy shined more in endurance this chapter, being able to take attacks and keep going. For me though, Luffy and Zoro are still the clear stars of this battle, and we'll see how much more Law, Killer, and especially Kid can do, since Kid doesn't even have a real way to hurt Kaido yet, and he talked the most about crushing him. For that reason, I feel like we will see something epic from Kid soon, as long as the upcoming chapters aren't dealing with solely other parts of the story. Also, Kaido is probably gonna bounce back in a significant way after this somewhat embarrassing chapter for him. And by the way, there will be a chapter next week, no breaks, so get hyped for that. I could totally keep going on about this chapter, but I think I covered covered most of the stuff I really wanted to say. As always, let me know what you thought of this one in the comments and what you expect to see happening next. If you did enjoy this chapter, make sure to channel your inner Pirate King and Kong rifle that like button. Really destroy it, give it a headshot with your Kong op. If you haven't, join the Nakama right now by hitting that subscribe button, and most importantly, hit that notification bell or you will miss future One Piece videos. And while you wait for the next intense and amazing chapter to drop, feel free to check out my growing One Piece playlist where I got videos about the Yonko, Warlords, Supernova, and more. Link to that is in the description. And I especially want to thank the patron squad over on Patreon and here on YouTube who help make videos like this one possible. First and foremost, I want to thank the patron of legend, the one acknowledged by Lord Twigo himself, and the most donated champion of the world, Alpha Sigma. And are the 1-tier patrons, the ones who stand atop all clans, Ingrata, The World, Acquire Respect, Pate Hefa, Dr. Courtman, Rithian, Emperor Otaku, Spidey Life Tanel, Baked Buddhist, and Tungsten Tarkus. And our Pro Hero tier patrons, the one and only Gilgamesh, Steelers, Angel Cruz, Anatoly Kazatsky, Joe Stanton, Barry Gucci, Jessica Kayla Fawn, Rithuende Aura, Alicia Actor, Bonnie Parks, Hinokami and Water, The Red-Haired Raven, Florian, Joanne Garcia, Jack Watches Anime, Fatboy Games, Deadly Saint, Matthew Cruz, Anthony Schreiber, Hijinks, and Mr. Waffles. Thank you all so much. If you enjoy our work, you can support more of it by going over to patreon.com/AnimeUproar and becoming a patron today for as little as $1. If you do so, you'll get your name featured in future videos alongside these amazing epic people right here, and you'll even get access to our private patron-only Discord where we talk about anime life and, of course, dank memes. So check out patreon.com/AnimeUproar, link in the description if you're interested. You can also join the YouTube channel by clicking that blue join button next to the subscribe button, which you've hopefully already destroyed. So yeah, you can support more content that way if you prefer, and whichever way you choose to support us, you can get the same great benefits. Thanks again, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.